Tweets.
All right, we're live. What's up, everybody?
Sexual.
We're just doing tweets and fun stuff like that now. We get this out. We are Aldo-less tonight, so that means we don't have a producer. So work with
It's
us.
going to be a shit show, but it'll be a fun one.
Yeah. Ish.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. Did it go?
Yeah, it went out. It went out. We are good. All right. You guys ready?
What? Yes.
Well, you get 30 seconds with the theme song, so.
Rebuild of the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Gantes or the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, January 12th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawoski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe. With me, as always, Mr. Aldo. Oh, no. We are Aldo-less this week. Aldo is down in Mexico, enjoying a little sun, a little family, taking a little me time. Rumor has it that he's out hitting the clubs with Nick Madrigal, who was your starting second baseman for Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic.
Almost like George Costanza in that episode where he's trying to teach Danny Tartable how to swing.
Yep.
I mean, they're both about the same height.
Fids went there.
I did. I couldn't help it.
Well, that's a good Reverend K. Fids.
Much taller in person, right? We talked about that. Yep. Zoe and I are fresh off of finding out who is on White Sox Twitter is vertically blessed and vertically challenged.
We're going to talk about that. And
we talk about who can play basketball. We can put basketball teams together through the White Sox Twitter.
The very disappointing height of NASCAR Mitch.
Very average.
Dude, I swear to God, I thought, as Fids, I was like, I think Mitch is like 6'1". He's like, you might want to ask him.
Right shoes on, I can be close to 6 foot. Like, I'd be like a quarterback 6 feet tall, where they always like Baker Mayfield, they say is 6 feet tall. Like, no, he's not. But
what shoes? Like the Spice Girl shoes? Like,
yeah, if I had like the high top basketball shoes, I think I can be 6 feet.
All right, fair enough.
You get those those really thick soles.
Yeah.
So we are in the dog days of off-season podcasting here, folks. So we appreciate you guys joining us on the live show. Please get in that comment section, leave comments. We're going to be feeding off a lot of that. We do have some baseball stuff to talk about. I want to talk about there's some White Sox trade rumors flying around. We're going to get into the more serious kind of sad stuff right off the bat, just to kind of get that out of the way because it's very important. And I mean, obviously we need to address it. And then I want to talk a little bit about the World Baseball Classic as the lineups are starting to come out. And then, yeah, Fids is a fucking ninja and surprised the shit out of me this weekend. So we'll talk about that and we'll just kind of see where the wind goes. So with all that being said, let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications so you can be the first one to know when the White Sox make a trade with the New York Yankees. Like that foreshadowing. Sports Mockery and sportsmockery.com. And also make sure that you are supporting our other sponsor, Uncle Bud's. I think it's 9700. I've been saying 96. 9700 South Cicero. It's just blocked down. You'll see the fucking sign. Uncle Bud's. Make sure you're checking out some of the new food specials. I know they got bingo now. They got a trivia night now. They got all kinds of crazy shit going on over there to get you in any day during the week. Or you can go watch the Coca-Cola 600 there because apparently I'm going to be sitting there with Mitch.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that too. All right, so I don't want to be Buzz Killington like right out of the gate, but I feel like this is like the most serious part of the show. and then we could kind of like venture off into our normal nonsense. I don't want to say sad news because I don't really see it as sad. It's unfortunate. But if there ever was a motherfucker that cancer done fucked with the wrong person, it's this guy.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what we're speaking of, early Sunday night evening, Liam Hendriks announced that he is beginning treatment starting on Monday for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Kind of came out of nowhere. Liam put up a really heartfelt 3-part Instagram post about it, basically talking about how it was a surprise to him and how, you know, he's always overcome obstacles. And if you look through his career, he really has. But we all know Liam Hendriks as this, you know, just madman on the baseball field. But off the field, he is an amazing humanitarian. Him and his wife do incredible work for different, like a wide variety of organizations in the city of Chicago and really wherever Liam has stopped along the way, whether it be Toronto, Oakland. He leaves his mark with his wife. And, you know, I've just always seen Liam Hendriks outside of the baseball diamond. It's just like a guy I'd always want to have a beer with. Like the way that like people, you know, sometimes like when the Tampa Bay Rays wouldn't wear the Pride Night jerseys, Liam's out here wearing every color of the rainbow, being like, I don't give a fuck. I accept everybody. Just, you know, and like that's kind of who he is. And that's kind of how I've always saw myself. So it's like, I've always related to Liam Hendriks. And yes, I know I've talked about trading him and shit. That's baseball. That is no indicative of him as the man. And so this news kind of came as a big shock to White Sox fandom. It rippled throughout baseball. We saw an insane amount of support, which again speaks to the type of man he is, that all these other players jumped on social media to comment or tweet or whatever and say, you know, we're with you, Liam, you know, and all this stuff. And yeah, I mean, our thoughts, you know, and are with Liam. And to be honest with you, I have one image in my head that since I heard the news, I can't get it out. You know, it's how like in those hospitals, the cancer wards, like people ring the bell when their shit's in remission.
Mhm.
All the picture is him just almost ripping that fucking thing off the wall and then giving like a platinum double flex Liam Hendriks, like, yeah, you know, like that's the only image I have in my head. That's the only image I'm gonna keep in my head, like, and I think he'll get there. Now, how does this affect him baseball wise? We don't know. Liam doesn't know. Doctors don't know. Nobody knows. Anybody that tells you they know, speculation. 100% speculation. What does it mean for the Chicago White Sox? Because unfortunately, there is that part of this as well. I mean, it's a very real thing. I don't think we're being insensitive to bring that up at this point. We've kind of talked about this when we were talking about the possibility of trading Liam Hendriks. I think your closer's Raylo now, going into the season. And this could all be a moot point. Game 1 could come up. Liam could be cancer-free and ready to go. I don't really see that being that fast, but I'm just saying. So it also explains some other things, like why he wasn't traded and, you know, other inner workings. And this is the type of shit we talk about all the time on this show. As much as we're all think we're plugged in and have all these people, like, unless you're there, you really don't know what's going on behind those closed doors. And none of us knew. No one in White Sox Twitter knew. No one in baseball knew. Jeff Passan didn't even know. You know what I mean? Like, no one knew. So, yeah, I think it's now you're looking, like we said, it's possibly a Crochet, Raylo, Graveman kind of three-headed monster closer deal now for the White Sox. But most importantly, without a doubt, and I don't think I'm overstepping and by saying I feel like I speak for the show here, all we really give a fuck about is Liam Hendriks, the person, having the quickest, safest possible recovery possible.
It's such a proof that like life comes at you pretty fast. I think sports actually as a whole over the last like 7 to 10 days has had a rude awakening to the bigger picture of what matters most with what happened with the in the Bills Bengals game, and then obviously what happened, what's going on with Liam too. Like it just comes fast. Like one day before you're debating, should you trade Liam Hendricks? And the next day you're wishing him well on, regardless of what the prognosis is, even if it's something to be, considered to be at more of a minor early stage, it's still terrifying. This comes with the territory when to sit in a doctor's office, having a doctor look across the table and tell you, look, you've got something that theoretically could end your journey. And that's a terrifying thing to kind of go through. And I think a lot of fans all of a sudden got to see a little bit more of the bigger picture. And what I've loved most is across sports. You've seen this, you saw with the NFL when everything happened in that game, and you saw it over the last couple of days after Hendricks made the announcement, the outpouring of support from all the franchises too, the well-wishing from players. There's players, they might rival and they might beef all the time, but they do in the end, they do have a respect for each other as ball players across the board. And when they see one of their own, hit with something like this, you melt away the facade and you go towards what really matters, which is he's a human being who's going to be going through a very tough fight, the quote unquote fight of his life, really, to be honest, at least up to this point. And, it's been great to see a lot of the outpouring of support across the board, but it's also been really a poignant reminder that this stuff, we love it, but it ain't everything. It ain't everything. There's a bigger picture outside of the lines, outside of the dugout and in the real world. And so it's been interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show, like you said, cancer really doesn't discriminate, because there's not many, you're going to be hard pressed to find a better person than Liam Hendricks. So you touched on it, like immediately when he got here, within his first couple of weeks, he was already donating to local fire departments.
Within a couple hours.
Yeah.
Dude.
He's donating meals, setting up visits at hospitals. The guy gets involved in the community. He has his animal shelter thing. And there's very few athletes. And this is why I always like Liam Hendricks, because you always want an athlete that's going to speak their mind, because a lot of the times they're coming up, you're getting media trained. You're not getting an answer. Liam Hendricks, you can ask him anything, whether it be about the clubhouse or the Tampa Bay Rays thing with the Pride Clubs, and he doesn't care. He'll give you a straight answer, which is nice. But there's even fewer athletes that won't only speak their mind, but are also pretty well spoken and are pretty informed on a lot of the issues. Whether you agree or disagree with him, a lot of stuff, he always has well thought out answers for a lot what he's saying. He's not afraid to touch on stuff outside of the baseball field. So I do respect him for that, because he will always give his honest opinion. And most of the time, he's not just talking out of his ass. He has well thought out points when he's doing it. So I always respected him for that. So it does suck. But like you said, if there was a guy that is going to beat it, the way he attacks hitters, if he attacks the same way, cancer the same way, it doesn't stand a chance. So
no. And what
he's going to say to cancer once he beats it, right?
A lot of swear words.
Lots of swear words. What did he yell across the way when he came out? Oh man, he's got a mouth. He's gonna.
And, mind you, obviously no cancer. You can't compare the two, because everyone's different with how they react to cancer. But there is a blue, John Lester had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma during his rookie year, and the next year he's pitching the World Series. We talk about Trey Mancini a lot on the show. He was fighting for his life in 2020, and then following year he's hitting 25 bombs. So it can't be done. Hopefully he's able to come back and pick up right where he left off. Once he beat it.
And as Jack points out in the comments, they did reveal that they did find it early.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great sign. But one of the happier moments I'm going to have on the show is when we post a video of him pulling the bell off the wall, fucking double flexing, screaming, "Fuck you, cancer."
Yep.
I cannot wait. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And I can't wait for it.
The dog. Cancer's got outmatched on this one.
And then he's the dude that after this, he's going to just put all his effort into helping other people get through it. Because trust me, knowing from past interviews, feel pretty confident in saying he's well aware how fortunate he is to have the wealth and the basically just things that he can turn to. He's in a very fortunate situation in that regards. And he's going to know that not everyone's that fortunate. He's going to trust me. I have no doubt in my mind that fucking Liam Hendricks is going to go fucking ham with that. So,
and you see it too. You see it too with you mentioned John Lester earlier, Anthony Rizzo too. Those guys all came, and what they've done afterwards. Again, when you've stared down death and you've seen it, and you realize all these things, you become a better man. And those guys they've been great men. What they've done to the community. But they also came back and they're bigger picture guys. and you don't want to really get too deep into applying a baseball standard to it. But these guys, when they get on the other side of this, they're changed. They're the word I'm trying to think of is it might kind of enlightened in a sense because they've seen something from a different pair of eyes for a second, and that makes a difference not just as a baseball player, but as a person that's around others and can help uplift other teammates and people around him. And like you said, he's going to be probably, the hospital visits and the things that he's going to do outside of off the field are going to be some incredibly connecting kind of things with the community. It's going to be great.
So sorry to come out of the gates, Debbie Downer, but that's without a doubt the biggest story that's happening right now, baseball wise. So I felt like we should just kind of just knock that out before we jumped in. I mean, it was 15 minutes, and I think we did a pretty damn good job with it. Topic number 2: why does Beef Loaf hate Andrew Vaughn?
That's a good question.
I'm just kidding. I'm fucking around. But if you missed it, and I feel like this is like something that we do on this show now, is talk about like good podcasts or whatever we've heard during the week or shows. And we'll talk about 108 Day later on, but you gotta support your homies, man. We are very fortunate enough to be in this like awesome community of podcast content creators in Chicago baseball. And it wouldn't be awesome if everybody was a prick to each other. You know what I mean? Like everyone's really cool, doors open, we all do each other's shows, we all do all this other shit. Like it's just a cool community. And it was never more evident than it was on Saturday at 108 Day. But like I said, we'll talk about that. But Beef's new show, the Au Jus, is on Monday nights. You should definitely check that out. And again, like we said last week, it allows him to just go into baseball purist mode. And this week he had Josh Nelson, another good buddy of our show from Sox Machine. And basically the topic of conversation was their concerns with Andrew Vaughn. Now, I listened to the show. You should all listen to the show. Very well thought out points. They came correct with graphs and fucking charts and all this other fucking shit. Like I felt like I was in school watching it. I'm dead serious. I felt like I was in fucking baseball school. It was awesome. And they're short too. It's an hour show. They get straight to the nitty-gritty. But it made me think, because I saw some of the fallout from it, and I was reading some of the comments. I didn't get to watch it that night because I'm sick this week. That's why my voice is kind of brutal. But I was reading the comments, and it was like the next day, so like I couldn't jump in the comments or whatever. And I just felt like I wanted to talk about this part of this topic. There is a huge difference that people need to understand about being a fucking hater of a player versus being critical or concerned because you have statistic and analytical data to back it up. And that's what they came with. They didn't show up on the show and they're just like, oh, fuck this guy, he sucks. Period, end of story. No, dude, like Josh had like this chart from Baseball Savant that kind of looked like a veg, but it was cool, and like it has like
magic mosaic. If you stand back and look at it long enough, it slowly appears to be a clam.
Yeah, but like it talked about different counts and the pitches he sees, and like basically that he still mashes fastballs like he did in college, but he's still having trouble with sliders and moving shit, and like the better he works counts, the better he sees his pitches. So he's got a better average, which is pretty baseball 101, but it's very prevalent with Andrew Vaughn. And just they broke it all down. So I just want to be clear, though, to people, like when you're listening to us or any other show, do like a statistical breakdown or like just discussing a player, and that's going to happen a lot in the off season. We are in the dog days of off season podcasting right now. And they did a great breakdown, but I see people, oh, you just fucking hate Andrew Vaughn. Or you're just an Andrew Vaughn hater. And of course, being Beef, he's like a fucking duck, man. He takes that shit, just rolls right off his back. I feel like I get more fucking hot about that type of shit than he does when people are talking about him. But it's just that's not the same, you know. And then it also, the other thing it made me think about, and this is all right. I'm not talking about. Yeah, Beef does not give a fuck. He just said it in the comments. He's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. But the other thing, and I think I've talked about this Mitch, I think this was before you. I brought this up, so I actually would like to hear your feelings on this. So another part of off-season shows content, especially as you get closer to the season, it seems to be everyone wants to play this fun game of who's going to progress and who's going to regress going into a season. Drives me absolutely fucking bananas. You can't predict that.
No.
The only thing you can predict is literally everyone. You can say that everyone is going to regress. If I just said everyone on the White Sox is going to regress a little bit, I'd probably bet 800. Because you don't know who's going to find that half an inch elbow movement and have like an amazing season this year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and it's just one of the things that drive me crazy. And I know there's numbers to back up people's like guesstimations on this type of shit and all this stuff. And I respect that and I appreciate it, like I just said with Andrew Vaughn. But like, I just feel like it's such a safe thing to do for people, and I think it's bullshit. Like for me to sit here and be like, Luis Roberts probably going to regress a little bit this year. He's a little older, little injuries, you know, see that coming. And then 3 months into the season when he's batting like 2 ticks lower than he was last year, I can be like, that's why you should listen to Pinwheels. I fucking called that shit. It's like, dude. I mean, you guys can tell me if I'm being fucking stupid. But
Well, no, I know what you're saying.
Oh, man.
I would actually think, from like a White Sox fan perspective, considering how poorly they played as a whole last year, that the bar's already been set. Like that for a lot of these guys, like Luis Robert was so bad down the second half of the year. Now, mind you, the arm thing was part of it, but it's hard to see him regressing any less. So I would actually be on the opposite, where I would say a lot of these guys. I mean, if I had to pay, it is stupid. Like you said, you can't really project it, but I'm kind of optimistic. That team's too talented. Like talent's talent. We know they have a lot of talent on that team, and despite how poorly they played last year, they still won 81 games. So I would imagine that they can't all regress even further than they did last year. So I mean, we'll see. But it is stupid to project. I'm with you on that end.
I just think it's lazy. I just think it's really lazy when someone like that's like your super hot take is like this guy's gonna regress. Yeah, dude. Like people don't get younger, you get older, and you get older, shit starts slowing down a bit. But also, a lot of these are young prime athletes. Like I said, like
the arrow's still going this way,
right?
It's like they don't need the Viagra just yet. They're twing.
But I'm just saying, like,
let them go.
What happens this offseason if, and I know I'm being very far-fetched right now, and I'm not predicting this at all, but like Luis Sosa, let's say he moves his front foot in a little bit and closes his stance, and that's the fucking magic sauce that makes him a decent second baseman in Major League Baseball. You know, it's just little shit like that, and baseball is such a game like that.
Right.
It's a game of adjustments. It's a game of adjustments. And an off season is the time to adjust. It's again, even like when you talk about projections, these guys are working on what they struggled with. All off season, they're using, they're doing the tee work, and they're working in the cage. And some of these guys, you have to understand the tech that some of these guys now have in their homes, that they have in their cages, like in their backyard. They're able to work on specific everythings. And so they're out there working on those shortcomings. And so it's always an evolution for these guys. And especially when you got the younger players who have been exposed, we talk about the 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Now they get to this point. And I think that Andrew Vaughn, I think that Luis Robert too. I think that there are a bunch of guys in this White Sox roster that are now hitting that age where it becomes less the 1 step back and becomes more like 2.5 steps forward, pause, 2.5 steps forward, pause. And you see that evolution. Mitch said it good. This team's very talented, and these guys are going to make the jump. And so that's why, again, yes, you can project. Yes, you can be concerned with where Vaughn struggled, but you almost have to just sit and ride the roller coaster. Sorry about the enjoy the ride reference, guys. But you do have to sit here and ride this roller coaster a little bit to see what they got. You won't know until you know, and you won't know until they take the field in March and April and start actually playing meaningful games to see if they've made any improvement, because the league knows what they can do. The league knows how to approach them. They've had a whole offseason to improve. So now everybody's coming out with a brand new fight style. And, in that last season you used, Crouching Tiger, and this season you're going to be using, Smoothly Steak or whatever. I don't know. Fuck. But you got to, they've got to adjust. And that's what, again, and you'll see it in spring training, what they're working on. And you're going to see them get them in, get them out too. So, projections are one thing, but, the concern is always valid. You don't have to be, there's nothing wrong with being concerned with what they struggled with, but you also got to take into consideration that this is the time that they're actually putting the type, what they struggle with. Guess who else knows? They do. a lot more, and they know exactly what's wrong. So, but like you said too, with some of these jump guys, the younger guys, and especially guys that are down on the farm, those are the guys that really surprise you because you never know. Like a 19-year-old kid could just turn into a 22-year-old stud, even though he's only turning 19 and a half, because something just clicks. And it might be pulling the pocket out of his back pocket or opening his front foot, whatever adjustments they make.
Yep.
It just happens.
And factoring in the new coaching staff too, I think would have to help a lot of these guys. You want to look at like track records with some. I mean, look at the new hitting like that. Castro has had a lot of success in Atlanta with a lot of those teams. So they're bringing in a whole new staff. It's a whole new way of thinking. So I would, I choose to be optimistic in the dog days.
So
there's going to be a lot of teaching in spring training this year because it's a new system and a new coaching staff. And a new coaching staff usually comes in all gunged in and ready to go. So I feel like you're going to see a lot more PFPs. You're going to see a lot more footage of them doing basic stuff because, some of these coaches want things to be done in a uniform manner, and that's what a good coach really does. So I'm kind of stoked to see. That's always a fun thing to observe during spring training is they're going to be doing a lot more than just because it's getting used to the cadence. It's understanding the strategy. It's understanding where these guys like each other. Plus, they're going to have to now adjust to the defensive alignment stuff. So there's some new rules they're going to have to also figure out. So I'm excited to see these guys there's going to be some teaching going on, which is always fun to watch.
I'm trying to find this damn vagina looking chart that Josh pulled up for.
www.beefvag.andrewvaughn.com.
No, that's not it.
Most knuckles beef?
I'll find him. Yeah, in my off season, I guess roller coaster of emotions towards the White Sox. I'm unoptimistic right now.
I think moving Vaughn to first base is really going to help because if you look at his splits the last month of the season, like near the end, like September, October, they've been pretty bad. And he's never played outfield before. He's playing the most games he ever has in his life in a position he's never played. People are like, well, he's young, like it shouldn't be an issue. Well, it is. If you're running out there like catching fly balls, it's going to take a toll eventually on your legs every day. So I think first base, position he's comfortable with, not as physically demanding for him, it's going to help him in the long run too.
He's going to be using less of his brain to figure out something new and then going back to something that's comfortable. And there's comfort in routine every single time. So that has to play a role.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't put as much stock into that. I get what you guys are saying, but that's not really. I don't know. I think
he'd rather do the same things over and over and over again.
Right. No, and I get that, but
putting him back into his comfort zone is going to be nice. At least that's one less excuse you can put your finger on, right? It takes one of the excuses off the table. And if he still struggles, it wasn't the defense that was holding him back. It's something else. Just keep
definitely not as high on Andrew Vaughn as some people are, but I'm definitely not as worried as other people. I guess that's my.
Is he going to be Jose Abreu? No.
No.
But
is it fair to try to do that?
No, exactly. If he's hitting like 270, 20 plus homers, that is fine. No one's asking Andrew Vaughn to carry the team. He just has to be a solid hitter, is what they drafted him to be. And all indications can be say that I think he's going to be a solid hitter. Like we've seen, he can be a solid major league hitter. I don't think he'll ever become a superstar, maybe, but as long as
Luis Roberts is the superstar. Eloy is the superstar. Those are the superstars, and he gets to play. He can be. If it's the Justice League, he's like maybe the Flash. Well, I love watching him run, but he's not the Flash. He maybe can be Cyborg if they're the Justice League, because you got Superman and you got Batman. He's that. He can be that third guy in there. He can be that, or fourth guy, and be. I don't know. He can be Cyborg. He's about built like him too. So. Yeah,
I think you guys. It would benefit both of you to watch that episode, though, to hear their concerns and the breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I was always like insanely high on Andrew Vaughn, but it definitely kind of leveled me out a little bit because they brought up good points. And like I said, it was a well thought out argument. It's definitely worth an hour of your time, especially as a Sox fan, to watch it but again, Vaughn could be sitting there right now, fucking eating like a bull's heart, fucking getting protein and ready to go. And like, I don't know, he'd just be doing his shit. So that's
Batman's a good fighter. He's a well-trained fighter. He's also the smartest. He's also the smartest detective in the world. So
I'll give him the.
Are we getting like Adam West Batman, or are we getting
smart baseball and Eloy? It's like Batman and the detective work. It's peanut butter and ladies.
Yeah, and Yes, that's a very good final thought there from Beef in the comments. The other thing is, I know him and Josh. Both him and Josh want the White Sox to be good. They want them to be good. Like I said, all they did was show up with statistical fucking things. And when it comes to talking baseball with people, if you bring up numbers, I automatically add like 1 million credibility points to your argument. You know what I mean? Like, I still can't find this goddamn vagina chart.
It's like you're saying, like if we're arguing about like our favorite burger, I'll just bring up like statistics, be like 42. I'm like, oh god, I respect you more.
Well, like okay, and I like you said, I'd have to listen to the thing, and there are some concerns, but I was encouraged by the fact he hit right-handers a lot better year 2 than year 1. Like his splits against righties improved, power overall improved. So like he made adjustments year 1 to year 2, and so I would hope year 2 to year 3 he continues to make adjustments. But like, from a basic level, like the splits overall were pretty encouraging for me.
And the excuses are out the window. They're gone. They're gone now. Not just the excuse of him going to first, but the excuse of saying, "Look, he had to learn on the fly. He's a young guy learning in the. This is year 3 now. At this point, he's familiar. So this is a big season for him in general. So it is kind of a shit or get off the pot season for Andrew Vaughn. And I know how much I like Andrew Vaughn too. You know me.
Yeah.
But it's time for him to, and he needs to be who he is, and people need to accept who he is. If he's he might not be a 40 home run guy, but he's going to be a valuable guy on a talented roster. I mean, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. I mean, I think he'll be good. I think he'll be solid. I also think it's going to be super unfair because throughout the year, it's going to be one of the most annoying fucking things of people comparing him to Jose Abreu.
And he's not, yeah. If you're going in with that mindset, then he's going to have a bad. It's
going to drive me insane.
He needs to make sure he doesn't do that either. He needs to make sure he's Andrew Vaughn and not trying to be. That's a concern that I have too. Is him trying to be Jose Abreu too in his mind, in that mindset, trying to like say he's got to replace that guy and understand that he's a different peg for a different hole.
I mean, yeah. Call me crazy. I'm more concerned personally about Luis Robert heading into the year than
I'm more concerned about people that thought Luis Robert's boxing technique looked good. Like I saw somebody tweet out like, you see him throwing hands in his driveway. I was like, bro, like I can go to my buddy Danny Letz's gym, letsbox.com. Go check him out on the south side, LETZ box. I can probably go pluck a fucking 12-year-old out of there that would have knocked his ass out. I mean, he is, dude.
Yeah, they're a little loopy.
That was just.
But like he's trying to burn calories. It's an off-season workout.
No, I get that, and I know he's not like being like, check me out. I'm like the next Tyson or anything. I'm just trying to get the cardio up and work it out a little bit. But like, some people were tweeting like, "Oh, look at Robert, he's looking like a badass," and I was just like, "That's the opposite of looking like a badass." Like that was not great. Like, no.
This is why you don't tweet your off-season workout videos.
He tweets everything, dude.
It's so stupid.
His Instagram story, like everything. He Instagrams that shit. Like
I always find if you're doing the work, it will show. Like, if you're taking the time to post your off-season workouts, then like, are you really working that hard?
And bro, he had.
I mean, you only work out for like 4 or 5 hours a day, and you film yourself. I mean, like Tanner's filming his workouts too. Sometimes you want to get your video footage in, but they're doing more like play stuff too. So it's different.
Hold on, we're going to the tape. Fuck this shit.
Yeah, go to the tape. Let's go to the tape. Because I also see ball players do. They film themselves hitting off the tee.
Wait, have you seen this?
The boxing thing?
Yeah.
No.
First of all,
dear Lord,
homie, the pink gloves. Second of all, that ass is way out here. I mean, I know he's a baseball player, so we got baseball player booty, but that thing is out there, bro. All right, now watch these.
Oh boy. Slow.
There was literally people like pumped about this.
Oh no, he's just
very little power.
He's just doing it as like cardio. This is just cardio. This is
cardio.
Like Tybo. Do you really think that someone goes to Tybo is a good boxer? They're just a fucking Tybo with Billy Blanks.
And again, it's not as if he was advertising it like he was some badass.
Well, no, the boxing's not the concern.
We're team close, for God's sakes.
Watch this video was like, this looks cool. I'm gonna post this. That is where the concern is, not the boxing itself.
It just keeps going.
He's smiling too. Like he's just having fun. out
Oh
there.
Jesus!
The thing is, though, he is a strong motherfucker. So like, if
Oh, and he goes
lands-
into see now he goes down into
yeah,
doing like
this
it's
is a workout. This isn't a
It's
boxing.
just keeping his
exercise.
hands
This is-
moving.
yeah.
He's keeping his hands moving. That's all he's doing.
Oh, just fine. Don't post it though. We don't need to see it. When you're
Right,
back,
it's
like,
a new workout. It's a workout that kids can model their workouts at home. It takes boxing
so-
gloves and someone to punch. A kid that can't afford weights and going to the gym can do that workout with his buddies. They can just throw some oven mitts on their hand and have some fun.
I got no problem with him doing it. I got no problem with him posting it. Whatever, it's your fucking social media. You post whatever the fuck you want. The reason I even brought it up though was like the quote tweets and the retweets being like, "This is my center fielder kicking ass." Like it's like, maybe we don't do that because he ain't kicking much ass. And then the other White Sox like official news is it sounds like they signed another Royals cast off. Hanser Alberto gave him a nice little minor league deal with the invite to the big camp.
I thought you were going to talk about that electric Jake Marisnick signing.
Yeah. Dude, why do I know that name though?
Play for the Cubs.
He's been around the league for a while.
Play for the Cubs.
I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, that guy. I know.
He was at the Astros during the World Series run in 17,
Oh,
which is also coincidentally when he had his best season. Trash cans.
He played for the Cubs. Duh. Played for
Yeah.
the Cubs back in 2021. He was traded to the Padres.
Yep.
Or was
Padres
he cut?
and then the Pirates the last 3 years.
Let's do a little quick
cut or
deep dive
traded?
into
Oh.
Hanser. Hanser he's 30 years old in the DR. He was a whopping 0 WAR player in 2022 with 156 at bats. 156 at bats a year, 0 WAR. 38 hits, 2 home runs, 244 batting average. Career 3.9 WAR. He's been in the league since 2015. He played 41 games for the Rangers in 2015. Went from the Rangers to Baltimore to the Royals, and then he played 73 games for the Dodgers last year. Primarily a second baseman, can play third and short if in a pinch. People were like laughing about this and whatever, and like I get that the new dugout boss, probably has a history with this guy because of his Kansas City days, but like basically the reason why I'm cool with this, one, it's a minor league deal. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Second, they're just creating more of a competition at second base.
Competition breeds excellence.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
I'm all about that action, Hoss. Like,
Hey, let's be honest. It's gotten to the point of the offseason, especially now with the Liam Hendricks news. They're not trading for a second baseman.
no, it's
The upgrade time is over. Like it's gonna be a competition of a bunch of these scrubs, and may the best man win.
well, that's the thing. Is may the best man win, and I'm here for that. Like,
If you're gonna go the route of Gonzalez or so, like you might as well bring in guys like this to at least push them. Or like you said, like maybe Alberto turns out to be decent. Who knows?
I will. Yeah, you can catch lightning in a bottle, sure, but
Bring
like,
as many guys as you want. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, fuck it, make them earn it. That's all. I like that they're not just handing it to one of these kids. You got to earn this shit.
Yeah.
And we're bringing in some vets that have been around the league that know what they're doing, and you got to earn it.
You know who earned their shit? You know who did earn their shit, though?
Who?
This Padres pitch is shitting bricks right now. Why? Because Danny fucking Burgess is up and back. Guy just ordered Shake Shack straight to the dugout.
He earned it.
Hey, I just saw Bleacher Report. Someone just did like a follow him around for a day thing. He's actually a pretty cool guy.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
I would imagine
And then
most fat guys are though.
the other thing that I wanted to bring up, because I keep seeing this kind of around, and obviously due to recent events, people's feelings on this might change a little bit, but one of the rumors that is being floating around in the Twitter baseball world, not even just by White Sox people, I saw some national people throw it out in the universe too, is a possibility of Garrett Crochet for Gleyber Torres.
I don't know.
I'm in the sure mindset.
Well, yeah. I mean, it would definitely be an upgrade at second base from what we'd have.
Yep.
I do think, I mean, it's tough to project going back to projection stuff, but like
Right.
Crochet, like usually coming off Tommy John, guys get their velocity back. Some could even come back throwing harder, and he's kind of a stud. Like his limited sample size, Crochet's a stud.
Well, we have a friend of the show that's an eyewitness to him being dirty as hell coming out of his rehab, who got to work out with him in Arizona. So Tanner McDougal said he looks filthy.
So you get
I mean,
That's
and
why we might have it in the bullpen.
in Gleyber Torres, though, you get a 26-year-old who was a 4-WAR player in 2022, hit 24 homers. So here's the thing with Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres was good. He was an all-star. Then he was dog shit for 2 years. And then in 2022, he kind of figured it back out a little bit.
Right.
Like, he was really bad for 2 years. In 2020 and 2021, he was fucking booty cheeks.
2020,
But-
I kind of take with a grain of salt, though, because that's such a weird season. But yeah, I mean, you're not getting a superstar in Gleyber Torres. You kind of, get an above
But-
average baseman.
You are getting an above average second baseman, which would help the White Sox out a great deal. And it's kind of like a more immediate return. I think Garrett Crochet, Garrett Crochet is a tough one to pin down just because you don't know how guys are going to reply. And kind of what Beef is saying there, Fids. I know Tanner's our guy, and I don't think he would have any reason to lie to you or us or anything, but I also feel like he's kind of pumping his boys' tires a little bit, which I would do the
maybe,
same.
but he knows what 100 looks like since his teammate threw 100 too in high school. So
Right. And
he
I
knows
don't know,
dirty.
I guess with
He
Garrett
could
Crochet,
be like, yeah, workouts are going good. Didn't have to say it looked nasty.
Nah.
and I mean with Garrett Crochet, the White Sox aren't going to be stupid with that. If they obviously are watching him throw 100 and know what he can do, I don't think they're quick to trade him for a Gleyber Torres. But
They
I'm-
know by now because they've seen him throw flats and thrown off the bump. Even
yeah, I mean he's been
They know
down
what they
in,
got.
yeah, he's been at Scottsdale all year,
Yeah.
and they know what he is.
Mhm.
I am 100% in the sure.
if it matters, if they
If
don't,
it happens, I'm
if-
going to be like, cool.
if they feel like it weighs, the value to get, you do it, right? I mean, they've seen, like you said, they've seen him enough.
Can
What I
I
can't get over right now, I have to interrupt this because Yumper sent me this. Jeez, oh Pete, steamer projections for Red Sox outfielder Masataka Yoshida.
Yeah.
Listen to this: 572 plate appearances, a 298, 388, 479 slash, a 372 WOBA, a 140 WRC plus, 11.7 walk percentage, a 9.9 K percentage, a 305 BAT/BIP, a 3.8 FWAR. Holy projections! You want to talk about projections?
Jesus Christ.
If he hits that, in his first year, But that's
So-
what I think. Didn't they give Suzuki those kind of numbers too in the
I
projections?
want to point this out real quick. I'm going to have to zoom because I don't think you can see it in the screen share. I'm on Gleyber Torres's baseball reference page because we're all about facts and whatnot here. And I scroll down into the player news section. Let me see. Let me get this bigger here. That's what she said. In the play trade, look at it. We got on Tap Sportsnet, MLB trade rooms. And then look at these little bastards from the 108 getting hyperlinked from baseball reference. You sneaky
Wow.
little fucks. Yeah, I see it. I saw it. I'm not giving you a click, dirty
Oh, look
bastards.
at that. But you did click MLB trade rumors though. I could see on your hyperlink.
That's an old art. That's from January 5th because it said White Sox option at second base. I clicked that link and it was like the Sosa, like it was like the most obvious things in the world. I was like, this is really intuitive reporting, fellas. Yeah, I just kind of caught me off guard. Good for you.
SEO going strong, beef. Nice.
Oh, nice. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to get too caught up in trade rumors right now, especially with anything regarding the White Sox. But let's say we wake up tomorrow morning and Hahn, being the dickhead that he is, pulls this trade off at like 2 a.m. again. So like everybody's sleeping and no one can really break the news or talk about it on their Wednesday night show. And I'm just going to wake up and be like, cool. So, okay. It's like, Mitch, you're on mute. I remember Mitch, you're on mute. I remember my first day.
Boy, that's a tough look right there. Yeah, no, it wouldn't really move that. It'll be like, doesn't really move the needle for me.
Yeah, it'd just be like hope he's good.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, hope it
Okay.
works out. Hope we get the good version of him.
Yeah,
That'd be cool. Yeah, which
It's like hitting the snooze button. All right, cool.
which the White Sox don't have a really long history of getting the best version of players when they trade for them. But
If we didn't give up, and I know, like, mind you, we don't have much to trade, so Garrett Crochet would likely be the guy that gets dealt there. But if we were able to somehow keep him,
yeah,
maybe fleece him with like a Cespedes or something, then I'm even more excited.
yeah. So that's like the gamut of the White Sox story I got here. Yeah, I'm very excited. We're not going to see Larry every goddamn day. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see Larry Garcia in a season where he's used how he's supposed to be used.
Just not
Yeah.
frequent.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and I mean,
One guy on the bench they pan to, and there's a big hit that's like clapping and like waving the towel. That's what I want to see Larry Garcia doing every day.
yep. Fuck yeah. So, what else did I? Fuck. So I guess that brings me to my next point. 108 Day was on Saturday night. It was a great night. Again, thank you to the fine gentlemen of the 108 for hosting a fantastic evening. Sorry Mitch was too cool to come. I'll just throw that out there.
Nothing to do with that. I wanted to come.
Don't
It didn't
trip
work out.
backpedaling now, buddy. I got the messages. I got the receipts.
I wasn't able to make. You can show the receipts. I wasn't able to make.
I'll send it a beef. What's this say? Fuck Beef Loaf. I'm not going to this bullshit. That means I'd have to touch people ill. Yeah, I got all of these messages, dude. But I will say, so I got scooped up by our good friend Lil Yumper and his lovely wife met me in the picked me up in the Uber. We drove out there. I pounded a Red Bull and vodka on the way there and talked everyone's ear off. It was a pretty good time. We get into the fucking Reggie's and there's a band playing, and I'm going to use that term loosely. It's a White Stripes thing going on with a dude on like a reverse White Stripes. Got the dude on the drums, and what I later found out was a girl lead singing, playing guitar, and they were wearing orange prison jumpsuits with like weird like clown makeup shit on their face, and it was loud as fuck. I mean, I'm getting old because I was just like, oh, like that's so loud. And it wasn't bad music. I caught myself a couple times like nodding my head to it. But
Yeah.
like, so I go up to the bartender, I say what's up to like I think Bruhan Luke and our good friend Brian from the Rankin Show. I'm sorry, Brian, I forgot the name of your show already. But like I go up to the bartender, I scream my order at him. I'm like, give me a shot of Jameson and a can of Busch. And so rip my shot, get the Busch can, turn back around. I just hear from my left side, I hear some asshole go, hey, will you autograph my Busch? And I looked over and fucking Fitz was there. No idea he was coming in. No idea. He keeps posting the goddamn picture of my shocked face because he thinks it's funny, but it is kind of funny. But I very rarely get caught off guard in anything. Like I'm like my entire life, like I ruined the surprise party that was thrown for me on my 30th birthday. I ruined all that shit. I very rarely get surprised. I pick up on shit really quick. I later found out in the evening, Fids was like fucking neurotic, telling all these people if they talked, he was going to cut their throats. So,
I showed him the knife too. That made a difference.
Yep.
It became
So,
real.
I had no idea. It was cool. I was excited to see my guy come in from Vegas. And that just like right then I was like, all right, well, this is going to be fucking fun. Yeah, I already knew it was going to be a good night, but I was like, all right, it's fucking on now. And,
The real question is, did anyone else ask for the autograph? Did any other show?
Not really. And I only had the Sharpie for not too much longer because our boy Spo, who, Spo's a good guy. He's, he's a big boy. He's a good guy. He's taking care of himself, and I loved seeing that. But Spo, who is sober, by the way, not drinking right now.
Dr. Pepper's all day.
Dr. Pepper's only. Saw me sitting at the table listening. It was in between the panels, and I'm like, playing with the Sharpie or whatever. I don't know why I had it out. I was doing something. And Savo walked by, and he took his shirt off. I don't know what led to that. That was coming from another conversation. It was in my left proverbial vision, and I turned around and I go, "Hey, I'm gonna sign your stomach." And he's like, "Fucking great idea." So I signed Zoe on his stomach, and he goes, "Give me the Sharpie." I give him the Sharpie. I look up. He walked around the entire room and just had people signing their shit like he's a fucking human billboard, dude. And then, oh yeah,
There
that
it is.
next night.
That is it.
Yeah,
and
that's a
my
lot
man
of
Jack got
signature.
pregnant.
Can you find
Oh.
your signature on there? Let's see.
I'm
Yeah, can you-
like right under a titty. I'm like one of the first ones. But I
Who
was
wrote "Have a neat summer"? Keep KIT. What? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, but that was hilarious, and that is just like a great. How was that night? Here's this picture. That's how that night was. Fucking awesome. And yeah, I mean, it was always great to meet everybody. To everybody that I met, and I'm Fitz, I'm sure you'll say, but it was all love. Everybody was in a great mood. The night went on. Everybody started getting drunker. Just a lot of smiles, a lot of people putting their arms around each other, a lot of selfies being taken. The panels were electric as always. The first panel was great with Josh Nelson got up there and started cracking some Jerry Seinfeld stand up, dude. He was doing his thing. I was like,
What's the
good for you,
deal? What
brother.
Rick on?
Yeah,
Damn.
he's making jokes. He had the crowd going. Josh is a very good MC like that. And he had, the crowd going and everything. The first panel had Lawrence and Herb and White Sox Dave on it, who I talked to Dave for a while that night. Dave, always a good talking to him a little bit off cameras and stuff like that. I love talking to Dave. And that panel was great as always. Those guys really bring the energy. And I think one really cool thing, well, a lot of really cool things, but one thing that I think is really cool that the 108 does is they don't record it. Nothing's recorded. You have to be there to hear it, and oh yeah, White Sox Dave was on the panel with you. See, I drank a lot of Jameson on Saturday night.
Also not tall.
No, he's not.
We're gonna get into that in a minute too. I forgot Dave was on that panel. A lot of Jameson on fucking Saturday. But they don't record it, so you get to see guys like Lawrence Holm and Herb Lawrence kind of cut loose a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they can swear.
Real,
They could swear. They could say what they want. They could say, and it's on the premise that the 108 guys tell them, like, this is not going to be recorded. We're not going to use this. Go nuts. And it's fantastic. And then they got up, and the 108 guys, I mean, at this point, they're the wily veterans of live shows in the White Sox content world. And they went up there, did their thing. It was fantastic. One of the funniest parts to me was the end of their panel when they opened it up to crowd questions, because those got pretty funny. Those were some pretty damn good questions. I don't think Beef picked up that I sent the one person in with the sabotage, like, why do you want to trade Luis Robert for Eduardo Suarez question. That was kind of funny. But yeah, no, everything was good. But yeah, one thing me and Fids noticed, Fids, you're taller than me. You're like more, what are you, like 6'1", 2? 6'2"?
Yeah, something like but the top half of 6'1".
Yeah, and I'm like the bottom half of 6'1", so that kind of worked out. There's gonna be a bad joke there, but I could
want to say it, but I was
I could feel people's fingers getting ready to type that one up. But god damn, I gotta stop talking. So we're both 6'1", and we're walking around, and we kind of looked at each other, and I was just like, there's a lot of fucking short people in White Sox. We could run some shit if we had a White Sox Twitter fucking basketball tournament. That's why the next day, Mitch, I asked you how tall you were.
Yeah, we thought you were taller. No offense.
Because all those are short guys. All those running the point all day for our team. You're going to need to be like a 2 guard. So I'm going to need you to start throwing up 50 jumpers a day at least, minimum, Mitch.
Oh, easy.
Get the hoop in the driveway going. I need at least 50 jumpers, and I need
I'm more of a mid-range shooter. I got elbow, money. You can put me beyond the 3-point line. It's a little rough.
That's fine. That's my game.
Aldo will be our Muggsy Bogues. He'll run the point.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think Herb's taller than White Sox Dave.
One's here
close.
and the other one was like here. It was like a head plus a chin compared to like just a head.
Yeah, my guy Herb, dude. Herb had a night. Herb was awesome. I fucking love that guy.
It's great.
But yeah, dude, it was just start to finish, absolute blast. And then I got the fun game on Sunday of playing Am I Hungover or Am I Sick? And the beginning of the day, it was definitely I'm hungover. And then as the day went on, I'm like, this isn't hangover. This is I'm sick. So
There you go.
So what Zoe is trying to tell everybody is if you were at the 108 Fest, you should go test for COVID.
no, I
And
negative. I got that
RSV,
test right away. Both
and
of those.
everybody
negative.
else should obviously still go test for MRSA and herpes too. But
The only thing anyone got from me that night was a big hug and maybe some of my contagious handsomeness. But
yeah.
I made sure because the last thing I'd ever want to be is that guy who's a
Yeah, you
huge
only
asshole.
open mouth kiss two people, which was nice of you. I thought that was courteous.
I'll take the over on that number. But
Tom Brady kisses.
but yeah, no, the first thing I did was I was like, can you guys give me the Rona test and the other test that you guys have been getting? They did that right away, and I was like, negative. I was like, fuck yeah. I don't know.
They said there was minimal fecal matter exchange at the party this year, which means, unlike last year, there won't be a large outbreak of pink eye. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go minimal, but yeah, especially in that bathroom alone. Whew, yeah.
I mean, I crop dusted a couple times, but that was.
I'm so glad I didn't have to fucking pinch a heater. That would have been really bad.
Well, I had Al Cheval earlier that day too, so I had some red meat in me. So,
but
that didn't.
All in all, another knocked it out of the park event by our boys over there. There's rumors that they might be getting a bigger venue next year to accompany more fans because I know a lot of people wanted to go and couldn't go. It's a rumor. There's also a rumor that it's going to be in B-Flow's backyard, and if you don't buy one of the first 15 people to buy tickets, fuck you. So it could go either way. They're going to keep us on our toes like they always do. But yeah. Oh, we have an actual baseball question in the chat. I'm going to let you field this one, Mitch. From Mike Nelson, he wants to know your thoughts on Mancini to the Cubs.
I don't think you're going to find a better first baseman on the market than Trey Mancini. I mean, do you need a motivational speech? Trey Mancini's your guy. A Baltimore Oriole, underdog story. What's not to like? And he's a World Series champion now. He's got that veteran presence. So, like, why wouldn't you want Trey Mancini on the Cubs? A lot better than Eric Hosmer, let me tell you. Some may say better than Josh Bell. I don't know what you call those people, but people are talking. Trey Mancini, kind of a stud.
Well,
just keep Patrick Wisdom out of the lineup unless it's against lefties. That's the key. Whatever makes that.
The two veteran names that are getting tossed around to a bunch of teams are Mancini and my guy Kutch.
Yep.
Apparently,
Kutch might send a minor league deal with the Mets.
In all seriousness, stuff for the Cubs, I do think that would not be a like you already got Hosmer, so I don't think they would do it at this point. But it would be kind of the same thing that you're getting with Hosmer, the veteran guy, to kind of help Mervis, but a little bit better than Eric Hosmer.
I'll tell you what, right now, if the White Sox, I think I said it 2 weeks ago. If the White Sox sign McCutcheon, I'm buying the jersey.
Oh yeah, he would look so good. He looks like a White Sox. Like
I'm
nice
so
veteran
leadership.
leadership.
He blocked me.
It's fine. You probably earned that shit, asshole.
I didn't though. I didn't. It was really soft, actually. It was really soft. I was actually at my friend's wedding, getting ready to go stand, and one of the last things I tweeted because he was all pissed that he got hit by a curveball on his butt cheek. I'm like, come on, man, it wasn't intentional. I
remember this.
It wasn't intentional.
Wasn't that long ago.
It was an off-speed pitch. It didn't hurt that much. It's not a bad, it was something really calm. And then I come back like later on in the evening and I'm blocked. I'm like, geez, maybe that curveball that was 72 miles an hour did hurt your ass. But
here,
hey, these are one of my favorite players.
So remember last week when we were talking about 108 Day, Beef got in the comment section and he alluded to a secret giveaway they were going to do for everyone?
I was about to ask, but I saw it on Twitter. Yeah.
They handed out White Sox 108 branded jizz rags.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yours is do you have used yours yet, huh? Oh yeah, mine's still standing up in the corner.
I've been sick.
That's a champagne victory. The Cubs signed Trey Mancini.
Ben slacking. Yeah, if the Cubs sign Trey Mancini, I might have to give this to Mitch. I was absolutely cracking up. It could have been the Jameson at that point, but I thought this was the funniest fucking thing in the world. And yeah.
So when I woke up in the morning, because obviously when I threw off my pants once I got back to the hotel, I woke up in the morning and obviously your socks are still in your jeans, right?
Yep.
Because you're just, it was like Bruce Almighty, just like, whoa, and it goes off. And so I woke up in the morning and I started getting getting all my stuff together. I'm like, I must have had that towel hanging out of my back pocket all night because it was perfectly still. It was like a
same.
just dangled perfectly over, like perfectly tucked, like Buffalo Bill.
Yep, same. And then one of the really cool things, I keep saying that, but one of the cool things about
Another one of the cool things.
Another one of the cool things about 108 Days, I really get to like put faces to people's like Twitter handles and shit like that. And there's one guy in particular that I kind of want to shout out here. I don't think he's I don't see him in the chat or anything, but hopefully he hears this. He goes by the name of Baloney. He's one of the 1/3 of the Shy Sports Bums podcast. It's another good show.
Yep.
I've never met him. I've never really interacted with him that much on Twitter. We've liked each other's tweets every once in a while. I've seen the Shy Sports Bums show on Monday nights every once in a while. I didn't realize this fucker lives like 4 blocks away from me. Like, he's like, yeah, dude, like we're neighbors. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like,
Seems like I've been peeking through the window every Saturday night for like 2 weeks now, man. And you still won't
well, I
wait.
was just like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, now I got a new homie in the neighborhood where I can just be like, hey, let's go to the Valley Inn and fucking watch the Sox game, have a couple beers. Like, I'm pumped, dude. That was fucking easily the coolest part of the night to me. I got a new baseball watching buddy.
And a jizz rag.
Yeah. And I might use them both at the same time. But you never know.
Trade rat. I mean,
And I guess
Of the 108 Fest the White Sox have gotten in free agency so far. That's what I'm.
absolutely 100%. And then I think we would be remiss not to talk about.
we could talk about John's jacket.
No.
wanted to steal it.
I'm going back to baseball.
Steal it.
I think I know where it's going.
I fudged up. I came on this show. I was very, very confident that Carlos Correa was going to stay on the Mets. I didn't think fucking Cohen would let him walk. Well, he did. Carlos Correa went back to the Twins.
Do we have a clip?
If Aldo was here, it would have been played like 60 times already by now, but he's not, so fuck it. Fids is now currently looking to find it, and yeah. Yep. So I said,
littering and
if Carlos Correa wasn't on the Mets, basically if he signed with anyone else, I would live stream myself watching a full NASCAR race. Now, I did say the word sober in there. This is me pleading at the mercy of the Pinwheels and Ivy universe to include some kind of drinking clause into this.
Well, I think. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was to say I offered you meth at least, man, and you turned that down. I said, make it
not gonna do meth. I do
original.
These are already all fake from years of being stupid and letting people use my face as a punching. Like
it wasn't just the NASCAR race. I believe we had in there. It had to be the longest one of the season, which is the Coca-Cola 600.
I don't know if I probably did agree to that. Fuck.
So I think if we're making you watch that one, because last year was literally the longest race in NASCAR.
How long was it?
It was
like on average. How long is it?
Usually it's like 4 hours.
Yeah, so I'm going to say this. It's probably a violation of the Geneva Code if we don't let Zoe drink it in some way, shape, or form.
Well,
so I think we could do, because that race is so long, and it would be more fun. I mean, that's half the fun of going to a NASCAR race. Like, by the way, if you haven't been to one, even if you're not a fan, they're fun as like you can bring your own cooler in and your own food. They don't care. You can bring a 30 rack push and walk.
So maybe let Zoe drink, because if it's his experience, it might ruin it for him if he has to not experience it as is intended.
You can't watch him making that many left turns sober. I think we let him, because for the Coca-Cola 600, usually NASCAR has been broken up. It's broken up into 3 stages for a race. That race is so damn long. It's 4 stages. So I think we make we get to give him like 5 beers a stage. Or there was the idea that was floated out earlier. Which you had, if you want to share it.
Well, it's just if someone who's not in the top 10, I actually, Aldo came up with this, but I thought it'd be better if anybody from the top 10 or not in the top 10 moves in the top 3, Zoe's allowed to drink while they're in the top 3. So someone that's outside of the top 10 polls.
Then
so
I will have
11
to have, but then I'd have to have like a drink set in front of me the whole time.
Don't you
'cause, like,
have a koozie, man?
I'm not a koozie.
Or
guy.
whiskey? You
For
can do
people
shots of whiskey when you can get it down. You get it down.
And I mean, we're gonna be. So the other thing is, Mitch said he could probably make it down to the southwest side, and we'll go to our sponsor, Uncle Bud's, and watch the race there. So
Now that
we'll-
race is on Memorial Day. I don't know if that would be an issue or not. It's right after
Wow.
the 500.
well,
I
it
could
might
get
not
my,
have to be this Coca-Cola race. We might have to find a different race just for.
If we do a different one, yeah. If we do a different one, then we'll have to come up with something else. 'Cause
Right.
It'll be shorter. I can look at the schedule. We'll give you a couple dates, and we'll pick
Yeah.
one / the punishment or what
So,
drinking game will be.
but back to Dickhead Carlos Correa. I think it's hilarious watching the Twins celebrate this. And
Yeah.
The Twins like be fine of it. This is exactly what I compare this to.
We could do it in playback too. I actually was I think I might have an account now with playback. You guys can use that to do it. You could watch it live
And
on the
the,
TV
well, the
and
live
stream.
content will 1,000,000% be better if I can drink. Like maybe
Yeah,
I have to
absolutely.
drop
Oh, yeah.
so I can drink.
We have
But
to have some
anyways,
sort of drinking game involved with it. Maybe like a Kevin Harvick theme once. It's his farewell tour, and he's got the Bushmobile.
but this is what I compare Carlos Correa to, and I think this is a pretty good analogy. Carlos Correa had like a steady girlfriend. Like he dated her for a year, things were going all right. You know, it wasn't great, it wasn't terrible. That's the Twins. But then Carlos went to the bar and like a good-looking girl kind of gave him a look, and he started thinking to himself, I could do better. So he broke up with the girlfriend, the steady, the reliable thing, and said, I'm gonna go out and play the field. He went out, got dumped not once but twice, and came back with his tail between his legs, and the old girlfriend took him back.
I wouldn't even think it was dumped if we're gonna go with that analogy. It was more like it got to the time, and he needed some of the big hurt pills.
Yeah, but basically he thought
He didn't pass physical.
oh, I'm gonna be watching NASCAR. But I misread that spell. I just read it again. Yeah, no, I mean, and he did. They gave him the money and all that stuff, but I just want to know, now that it's all said and done, he passed this, whatever, Dr. Nick Riviera from The Simpsons did his physical for the fucking Twins.
Looks good to me.
Hi, everybody. I want to know what was on this physical. They'll never tell us because of HIPAA and all that shit. But like, what was so bad that the Mets and the Giants both were like, nah. And I get that there's a big difference between a 12-year deal and a 6-year deal, especially when you're talking about injuries and like how long it's going to take for it to become an issue. But like,
The Mets backing out surprised me because you would think if
obviously
they
surprised
that
me.
shit and just throw money at the problem, it would be them. So the fact they're like, yeah, that's too concerning for even us, just goes to show. I don't know. It does suck for the White Sox since he's back in the division, but like, is anyone really that scared of the Twins? I mean, good for them.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like the
It's
Twins
fun.
are like, oh fuck yeah, we got Carlos Correa. It's like, well, you got the same team that was dog shit last year.
Right.
You put the band together, but the band fucking sucks.
Well, Yeah, my friend who's a Twins fan, he's like, oh, like he casually follows. He's like, hey, like, do you think this is good for the Twins? I'm like, I guess, because you're not going to get no free agent is going to Minnesota, like the top tier one. So like, I guess it's good for him in that sense, but like, they'll just still be a middle of the road team. It's not, they're not scaring anyone.
Yeah, and then the other rumor that's flying around now is that they're going to try to trade for Pablo Lopez out
I
of
don't
Miami. But if they do that, that's going to cost them a Luis Arias.
In Miami, I'm
And
pretty
I'll
sure
pack
him on one of their untouchable lists. Him and Alcantara, I believe.
Today out of nowhere, Mitch. I don't know how much you've been on Twitter, but Pablo Lopez getting traded has been like the hot rumor all day today.
Yeah, there we go.
But if that gets Luis Arias out of fucking Minnesota,
Yeah, works for me. They're more reliant on how healthy Byron Buxton is, which at this point you can't really rely on Buxton's health for them to be any sort of threat in the AL. Like, I think a healthy Byron Buxton for a full season is a bigger addition than a Carlos Correa, but you don't know if it's going to happen.
sorry, Billy Wires tweeted something, and for some reason the volume played. Yeah, I mean, this is a very good Joel, very good. It was a plot to an early 2000s rom-com with Ashton Kutcher. So many trucker hats in that movie. So many sideways trucker hats. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I thought it was just funny. I think the whole thing's just funny. I hope he comes out and it's just dog shit this year.
That would be pretty funny.
I know. See, I say I hope he's dog shit because I don't wish for injuries. I've never been an injury guy, but I just hope it's a dog shit year for him. And I always hope the Twins fucking suck. So
Who would you have? Serious question, because like the White Sox, we don't have. I don't know who would you have as their biggest rival in that division?
right now, the Guardians.
Well, right now the Guardians, but like in history, like because like the Cubs Cardinals is like the big rival. Like who would you throughout your time as
I
a
would
White
say-
Sox team you hate the most?
In
that division?
my soon to be 39 years on this planet, being a White Sox fan, I would say it's the Twins. I fucking hate the Twins. I hate the Twins from the Piranha days. I hate the fuck you Mauer days. I hate everything but Kirby Puckett. Fuck them.
Hey,
Kirby
What about the Ken Herbeck days?
Kirby
Do you hate
Puckett was
those?
fucking Kirby Puckett was a G though.
I hate Kirby Puckett. I actually
Right,
despise
alumni.
Kirby Puckett.
Cry to
I
the system.
I really dislike Kirby Puckett. Yeah,
It killed me as
not for his baseball.
I figured
for
as much.
who he was at the end. He was not a nice person.
I figure it killed me as a kid that Little Big League was based on the Twins team because I love that fucking movie.
That's funny.
It made you like the fucking Twins. Like for that 2 hours, I was like, oh, come on, Billy Mays and all this shit. But like, Ken Griffey Jr. got them though.
I was rooting for the Mariners in that movie.
No,
I
you
couldn't
weren't.
stand the fact of this like spoiled kid. It was the same thing with the Cubs pitcher guy.
What's his name? Billy Haywood. There you go. I couldn't think.
Yeah,
of his
I
name.
was like, this guy doesn't know how to manage a team. There's no way. Like, if I was a player, I would not listen to him. The fact that he had him winning that many games, it pissed me off. I didn't like
Did you not hear him take that guy's baseball quiz and nail every answer?
Yeah, there you
Did you see the trick play he drew up that was completely a balk?
Yeah.
Hello, he even tricked the
He
umpire.
touched the Twins legend halfway through the year. They sent him down after he hit a single.
Yeah. And you know what he did though?
Chess.
He fucking reached out and he touched them right
It's true.
here, right here in the heart, and he got those men to play this beautiful game the right
Mhm.
way. To have Ken Griffey Jr. shit down their throats and say, "Better luck next year, kid." That's the best line in the movie.
Dating his mom too. That's not like going to cause clubhouse issues. I don't know.
Right.
Seemed like a sloppy
Why
operation.
do
You
they
brought
always
it
do
up
that?
there.
Why in both those movies?
Rookie of the year too.
Yeah, I
He
was
dates
just
his
gonna
mom. What's his name?
Chet Stedman.
Yeah, dates his mom too. Yeah, what the
Why
hell?
do they got to do that? in those
Although I
movies?
will say this, the mother in Little Big League is the mother of Cubs top prospect Pete Crow Armstrong. So
Right.
as
Just
a
float
trivia.
it. Just float it. Just float it.
No, that's Henry Rodengartner. That's I'm talking Little Big League's mom.
That-
Oh, Billy Haywood. Okay.
Billy Haywood's
all
mom
right.
is PCA's mom.
Is it the
Yeah.
same actress?
No. Because she's the other one's crazy. She's like, I'm gonna cut. She's gonna go cut. What's his name? And he's like, oh my god, 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 oh my god.
Oh, okay. All right. No, definitely not the same woman. Ashley.
yeah,
Cole.
I am worried about the clubhouse issues because that guy, the clubhouse could run amok. And what's the 12-year-old going to do to stand up to it?
Shit,
Right.
he's got fireworks probably.
I mean, he's got his two like fucking meathead friends telling him who
Angry
pitches in the
tweets.
bullpen. Start Wedman. Wedman kills the Tigers. Go fuck yourself, kid. Like,
Yeah.
he watches a lot of porn too. He did have a porn addiction. Did you see that too? I mean, they found out like his room charges. Naughty nurses, I think it was, or night nurses,
naughty night nurses.
naughty night nurses.
Yep.
So he's got a lot bigger problems with that addiction to adult Skinamax.
I mean, there's a lot of holes in these movies. I love them so much. So
You know what I
much.
think about it though? My first R-rated, real R-rated movie, like with nudity, I think was on a baseball trip when I was 12 to San Diego. I think that the older guys from the older travel team threw it on the TV, and I was like, oh, because there was nudity in that when they ripped the thing off. Well, at least I thought. I mean, at that age, no internet. It was like, did you catch a look at that Sears catalog thing? But yeah, well, that was what you should have done, Svo, because the joke's on you. Jurassic Pork and The Firm were both purchased under your pay-per-view subscription.
The Pelican Briefs.
Mhm. Saving Ryan's Privates. That one also was bought.
Poke a hot ass.
That's a good film.
Get in all those.
Quality cinematography in that.
A lot of David Duchovny hosted shows too at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, Spo did kick my ass in Madden, by the way, that night. He did though. He made it. He comforted the fall because he picked me up from the airport with a sign that said
Steve
Steve Bartman, and then he had Rico Benny's waiting for me. So he fed me Rico Benny's, which I was burping and then eventually farting all night. Jokes on him on that one. I left the upper decker on the way out in the morning, but He beat my ass in Madden pretty bad. It was humiliating, actually. So I'm saying that publicly.
Heard about your bowel movements.
Uh
What else is?
oh.
Don't shut the front bathroom.
So
don't lift up the-
this show has been fed some information that the Cubs are pulling used to be classic White Sox move. So you got Cubs convention coming up this weekend, and Mitch, I'm sure you remember this. The White Sox love announcing player extensions right before Sox Fest.
Mhm.
They would do it almost every year. So there's a rumor from one of our sauces that this guy's been hit or miss. We're not giving this the full like backing, but there may be extensions coming for Nico and Hap before Cubs convention.
I would
birdie.
be,
Not
I mean-
a birdie, that's a confirm a bird. Not a confirm a birdie. It's you gotta
it's
have
not a
couple
confirm a
confirmations.
birdie.
It's just it's a buzz at least.
The
which would
Nico
be-
one's a no-brainer to me. The Nico
Yeah,
me
one's
too.
That's a
Yeah,
no-brainer.
absolutely.
no doubt.
Mhm.
Half I could go either way. Because he had the one great year, so you're rewarding it. But I feel like if I don't know, be the time to sell high if you're gonna
Yeah.
trade it.
Nico's a no-brainer, but Hap, it's like, okay, that doesn't really get me as fired up. If I'm
It
a
depends what
Cubs
the
fan.
numbers are too. Maybe it's like
Right.
a 3-year deal and it's a pretty good price.
Right, but
you
it's a
lock
solid
him
move.
up- you lock him up with Swanson, and so you have the best defensive middle infield in baseball for 5 years, 6 years. Boom, let's rock.
I'm just saying that's the Han special, man. Announce that shit right before a fan conference. Get everybody fired up,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's pretty standard there. So, about all I got for this week, fellas.
Yeah, it was
Not much going on this week.
no.
Weights, dudes are ramping up their workouts. Pitchers
What
are
are we
starting to throw off
44
the background. To, yeah,
44 days away from the first spring training game.
they're starting to get off the mound a little bit. So
Yep.
that'll be they're starting to you seen these guys starting to welch up a little bit. It's kind of fun this year in Vegas this time of year, depending on what program, baseball program, the high school programs you have, because a lot of these guys right now I think they're kind of congregating out at Liberty High School. That's where I think I see Tanner and some of those guys playing. I know at DO they go out to DO a lot. I'm sure that KB and Chasen and those guys are working out in their places too. Like we talk about those guys, but they're about to have a Bonanza alumni game in a couple weeks. So those guys, Chasen's planning on pitching against the high school kids, which should be fun. But those guys are all starting to ramp up and join these little high school programs where they can get their long toss in. You get one of the program players, the catchers, you can throw a pen at these guys, you have to, these guys, it was great when these guys would come out because they drop the guy like, here's an MLB gift card for $50. Thanks for catching my pens, for me, for these couple weeks. I know it made your hand sore or whatever. They were really nice. It's really cool to see these guys in Vegas. They kind of cluster together. So a lot of the guys show up at the same place. So it's a fun experience for the kids around town too, to see that stuff, but they're all starting to ramp up now. It's past January 1st. So these guys start getting out and out here out west, they start getting outside. So it's, and that's what I'm sure these guys are doing everywhere is now you're starting to throw maybe like 20 pitch pens, and then call it a day for, a couple weeks here and start ramping up that velo. And then they're probably at 85% at this point velocity and just moving up and up.
Good. Tell them to come back on the show. We'll talk all about it.
Yeah, it's a fun time. This is where they get better.
No, chase him on the fucking ball field with your phone and be like, "Come here, I'm doing this interview right now." Fuck
Who?
Tanner.
Oh, Tanner? I don't have to do that. I just send him the link and he can, jump on here from his car again.
That works for me.
Oh, he's at home now, actually.
Oh, that works
Is
for
it-
me. Either way, maybe you can have him over, let him beat your ass in Madden, and then he can come on the show.
I don't know.
There we go.
He's not very good at it. He found that
No,
out.
he said when they're in their house in Scottsdale, they play a lot of video games. Somebody had to teach him something.
Well, I got to play him on our spring baseball trip, so that's
Someone had to
Danny
teach him
Mendick
something.
was showing him the ropes. He's probably good at that
And
now.
tell
Hurts.
him to take like a sneaky iPhone video of Crochet's pen session.
Yeah.
And
well. They're not paired anymore because he's here. He
What?
left Arizona.
I want exclusive video.
We'll get some exclusive stuff. We'll get to hear someone's jockstrap.
But yeah, you guys got anything else? Anything?
I just want to thank Beef and those guys again for Saturday night. That was a freaking amazing night, and
It was awesome that you came, dude. It really
Yeah.
was.
Nice to see everybody out there, people that I never got to meet in person. And, even if those of you that are maybe paying attention, you'll notice that some people that couldn't watch the show can watch the show now. So that the training wheels have been removed again.
Yeah, you talk in person with people, all that shit. That's why I don't get too caught up about that shit. So, yeah, just got confirmation. All those living the good life down in Mexico. Things are good. As far as this show being able to be enjoyed on Spotify and other platforms, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot. But
you gotta give us a shot.
you gotta give us a shot. He's on the team for next year. Why is Rick Hahn trending right now?
Dope. Sometimes they fool me because it'll be trending for you, and I think it's like actually trending. I'm like, wow, Kevin Harvick and is trending again, and they're like, oh wait,
It's
So
because
for me,
are people actually upset that fucking Nelson Cruz signed with the Padres?
They listen to Chuck Garfine's podcast. They think he was an option.
What is your For You say? Because mine says Madrigal, Captain Marvel, Rizzo, Ken Jeong, the Astros resign, Gruden, Muncy, Flacco, Nimmo, Herbert, and Stanton. Oh, Stanton.
That's an interesting. All right, mine. I got Madrigal, Tatis, Omaha, Rick Hahn, Jake Hager, Billy Donovan.
Hey.
I got
Sierra Vista kid. Woo.
I have Rick Hahn, Patrick Kane, Nimmo, Ken Jeong, Madrigal,
Same Horno.
Patrick Kane, Madrigal, Aaron Hicks, hashtag Evil Begins When, Shakira, Marvel Studios, Pritzker, Rick Hahn, Jacob Poto, Ken Jeong, hashtag Padres, Seager, and Unlimited PTO.
I'm actually sad that Jeff Beck isn't trending on my For You. Rest in peace.
Oh, no, that's because it's the For You trending. If I just click trending in Chicago trends, number 1 is George Santos, then Zach, because Levine, number 3, Levine, number 4 is Lori, number 5 is iHeart Awards.
Mine's
6 is just the
AEW
word
Dynamite.
Keat. Number 7 is AEW Dynamite.
Jeff Beck's 2 on mine. Sistas on BET. Hashtag Moffs. Hashtag The Challenge 38. Who else is on here? Teebs popped up. He's 12.
Yeah, mine are just Chicago.
Kuzma. Jonathan Moxley? No, wait, no. Jake Hager's 24th. Whoa.
I don't want your life. All right,
that's
let
Jake Hager.
me try to get this bad boy out so the pubic can listen to it. But we'll iron out the NASCAR bet, and yeah, thanks everybody for listening, following along with this. Mitch, this episode, this was a hardcore off-season podcast. This is like the definition of off-season.
That's one of those grinded out. It wasn't always pretty, but we
got an hour and a half out of it.
Exactly.
But dude, did you want to do a NASCAR minute? My bad.
I got one for what you could expect from the Coca-Cola 600, but if we might switch the race, then
so hold on to that.
There's no we
hold
can
on to that.
pump the brakes.
All right, so for NASCAR Mitch, that's the good Reverend Fids. I'm Southside Zoe. Be good to each other, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.